Okay, it still doesn't let me. That's fine. I don't know what's happening, but somehow my hotspot wasn't working. Okay, once you all get started, get seated and we get started. Going to chant. Every time I do my practice, I do an invocation to Lord Patanjali. And in last class, Manjulali explained who Patanjali was, also a form of Lord Vishnu. So I'm going to chant a very quick mantra and then we can get going from there. Everybody, please breathe in with me. Soft and long. Exhale. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Yogena Chitasya Padena Vacham Malam Sarirasya Chavaidakena Yo Vapakaroti Tam Pravaramunina Patanjali Pranjaliratosmi Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Start sitting cross-legged, however comfortable you are. But a few rules is, so when you're sitting down, you don't want to sit on your tailbone. So in fact, in the yoga classes, we usually teach people to also, if there is any excessive, if you feel like you're sitting on your tailbone, you can manually lift up and then ensure that you're not sitting on your tailbone. So here you're sitting straight on your coccyx. And then here, there should be no arch or no rounding of the spine, but it should be straight like a plank. Okay? That also ensures that your energies are flowing all the way from your lowest chakra to your highest chakra when you sit straight. I'm sitting to the side so you can see that my back is straight. I don't know how much you can see, but now a few more rules is to always keep your core engaged. It doesn't mean you hold your breath, you suck it in, but you're really contracting your abdomen muscles. And that way you're engaging the core, okay? And you also make sure your diaphragm is nice and open and your shoulders are wide open and away from your ears. There are two ways your shoulders can be away from your ears, right? One is outwards. That means if you're contracting, push them out so they're away from the ears. And there should be distally, so longitudinally also away. So your shoulders down and your neck up. So your sternum is slightly pushed and looking up to the ceiling. Okay? So this is the perfect sit-up posture anytime, not just when you're practicing yoga, but traditionally in Ayurvedic days of India, people, or even before dining table was there, they were sitting cross-legged on the floor, and this is how they sat even for conversations. Okay? So this is called a Sukhasana or a lotus pose. Well, it's not quite a lotus pose, it's actually called a Sukhasana or an easy cross-legged position. Right? Now, we're going to just place your palms on your knees, and we're going to learn how to breathe in and lift up your sternum first, and then you exhale. So what's happening when you inhale? You also place your palms on your belly and try this. You don't want to just do a shallow breathing through your lungs, but you want to breathe in through your belly. So your abdomen pushes out as you breathe in. When you exhale, the abdomen goes back in. Okay. Let's try that. Palms facing down. I want you to notice any difference because I'm also going to make you flip your palms out after about 3 breaths. So your breath cycle is a cycle of inhalation and exhalation. So I don't know if you have a notebook here, but next class I plan to repeat it. But if you have it, if you're interested to take a note of it, inhalation is called Puraka, exhalation is called Rechaka. Puraka and Rechaka. And so this is just a normal breath, and it's also called a yogic breath. And the deeper you go, the better it is. But there is also something called pranayama, right? It's pranayama. People usually say it's a breathing practice, but there's much more to it than just practicing and retaining the breath. Because in pranayama, you're training, you're moderating your breath to control all your 7 chakras in your bodies. So chakras are your energy centers, and we have the lowest energy chakra being Mooladhara chakra. Mooladhara, that's right around your coccyx. That's your final point of your tailbone. And then right above it, you have your sacral chakra, which is your Svadhisthana chakra. So around your Mooladhara chakra, that's just around your perineum. So the perineum is somewhere between your, your anal orifice and your vaginal orifice or your urinary orifice. So that's the perineum, right? So you can feel the contraction. When you contract, try to contract, and that's also popularly known in the West as Kegel exercise. So when you inhale, contract, and exhale, you release. Inhale, contract, exhale, release. And when you're contracting it, the pelvic floor is actually slightly lifting up from the away from the floor, and then exhale and softens down, right? So that's your Mooladhara. And the Mooladhara chakra can be envisioned with red color, and there is also mantras to it that we'll learn in the next class. Moving up slightly towards the sacrum, it's envisioned like orange color chakra. It's called your Svadhisthana chakra. And Svadhisthana chakra is actually the seat of all the emotions. So whenever you're feeling down or if you're emotionally stressed, physically stressed, you usually feel pain around your lumbar or lower back. That's nothing but that's a chakra that attracts all the emotions. So in our practices, when we do our back bends and we do forward bends, we have to focus on the Svadhisthana or sacral chakra. Moving up around your solar plexus, your umbilicus is envisioned like yellow colored light. It's called Manipura chakra. So that's governing all the digestion, everything around the digestion, right? So that's your yellow colored solar plexus, Manipura chakra. Moving up, it's green and it's around your heart area, Anahata chakra. Okay. And moving up slightly around your throat, the throat chakra, envision blue light. This is called Vishuddhi chakra, governs your speech, your Udana Vayu, right? So Anahata chakra is where your Dhyana Vayu is. And abdomen, Manipura chakra is where your Samana Vayu is. And Svadhisthana chakra and your Manipura, Mooladhara chakra is where your Apana Vayu is. Okay. Coming back to your blue colored throat chakra, which is your Vishuddhi chakra, right? So this governs your speech and your words, and any kind of upward reflex, everything is governed by your throat chakra. Coming up around your third eye, envision a purple color light. This is your Ajna chakra. There are 2 ways to pronounce this. Some parts of India call it Arjuna. Some parts of India pronounce it as Arjuna chakra. And, and then moving up is, so some sciences, Giranda Samhita and Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Hatha Yoga Pradipika all talk about 7 chakras. There is a couple more books that only talk about 6 chakras. So this is the final chakra, starting with the root, sacrum, abdomen, heart, throat, and then the forehead. So that's only 6 chakras. But other Samhitas and I do not read Sandhya Upanishad, maybe Manjula, you can speak, but we have the final chakra. It's called this is where your energy comes out and releases. This is your Sahasrara chakra. It can be envisioned as 1,000 white colored petals. All of these have petals, number of petals in it. We'll go in depth in the next class. But for now, let's just learn the colors of these. So Sahasrara is white in color. Alright. Now today, in our first practice, we're going to softly learn just yogic breath, where we breathe in about 3 cycles with inhalation and exhalation, right? And about so that we're going to do 3 cycles with your palms facing down, and then we're going to flip our palms up, and then I want you to see if there is any change in your breathing that you notice with that. Let's start. You can go at your own pace. You can go at your own length or how deep and how elongated you want it to be. If you feel like you need to take a pause between inhalation and exhalation, and between the exhalation and the next inhalation, feel free to do that. Okay? Let's do that. I'm going to start by closing your eyes gently. Bring your entire energy there. Try to breathe all the way through into your belly button. You're done with the 3 rounds. Gently let your palms up, sorry, palms facing up now, and breathe in and out. And we'll discuss it tomorrow. Keep the breath flow naturally, no need to elongate it or contract it by any means. Closing your eyes just helps you when inward focus on the breath. A couple more rounds and we'll come back. Anybody noticed a difference when we had our palms flipped upside down or facing up? You can unmute and speak. It's easy that way. I don't expect you to go in and chat. Nobody found a difference. I can just say what it should be and you can observe next time. Yes, Jen?
Well, what I noticed is that when my hands were down, it was more like a closed circuit, and I kind of felt all of the energy staying within my body. And as soon as my hands flipped, I felt like opening all through my chest and through my arms. And then the breathing seemed to go like out and then in, as opposed to staying in a little cycle.
Perfect. So that's how it's supposed to be. When you are putting your palms down, it's actually you're closing your energies. But when you open it, and also another easy way to differentiate it is when you have your palms down, your breath goes shallow, and when you're flipped up, the breath goes deeper through your abdomen. Because when you're closing, you can possibly go in through your chest, maybe. Does anybody see? Okay, is it my internet? Okay, you're all okay. Everybody give me, people I can see, just give me a thumbs up if you can see me. Okay, good. Because I couldn't read the whole message. All right, now we're going to do Aum Pranayama. So Aum, A-U-M are the 3 syllables in the pranayama. Okay, and actually the word Aum signifies A-U-M-M. Okay, so it starts with the creation. So there is Trinity, right? A lot of creation, a lot of sustenance, and then a lot of destruction. So we have all 3 forms of energy in the same. It's called Omkara Nada. Nada is a sound. So when you say A-U-T-O is said auto, but usually we say auto, right? So that's how Aum became Om, colloquial language, but it's actually called so I want you to practice the Omkara Pranayama with me, where we start with and observe vibrations around your belly button, and you bring your lips closer to make it so you observe vibrations around your chest, and then you'll observe vibrations around your forehead and also your lips, right? So everything up. So ma is mostly your udana vayu. Everything up on your face is mantra. So there are 3 mantras: a, o, ma. So let's do this about 6 times, I should say. And actually, let's just do this 3 times. So we will practice with a soft inhalation. Take it as deep as you can. The deeper your inhalation is, the longer the Omkarananda is. Okay? You don't have to sync your and ma with me. I may go longer than some of you, or I may go shorter than some of you. So feel free to do it at your own pace, but try to focus the vibrations on the vibrations that go all the way to your abdomen, into your forehead, rising up. Okay? So let's all do that. So inhale, soft, exhale with the pranayama mantra. Did anybody notice the vibrations? And if you did not, as you work and practice more, you'll keep noticing the vibrations. Okay? And so I'll try to teach you one more pranayama for today, and then we will move on to the asana practice as well, because that's also fun to do some movement in your body, right? And then we'll also end with a short meditation. Yeah, so with second pranayama I like to teach it's called Kapalabhati, which is it's actually called Kapal is your skull, Bhati it's like a shining. So you're going to give it's actually called skull shining pranayama. So whenever you do this breath, you're supposed to radiate some bright energy from your skull, and that's how yogis were envisioned. Like if you see, they have this beautiful aura around their head, right? So that's all this brightness that came from their pranayama workout. And this is very simple. We're going to start with a soft inhalation, and as we exhale, we don't. So we're going to take an inhalation, and then as we exhale, we're going to pump your belly backwards. So we're going to take a long inhalation, and then I pump, and then my belly naturally recoils. So I'm going to start with inhalation. So the inhalation naturally happens between every exhalation, but the emphasis is on the exhalation. And these are like short spurts of breath that form the exhalation, right? So repetitive exhalation. And we're going to do 12 rounds of exhalation for every round of inhalation. And then we take a pause, and then we inhale again to 12 more pumps of exhalation. And then we inhale 12 more pumps. Right? So we're going to do 3 rounds of this. Again, at your own pace, take a deep breath. Anybody has any question? Please feel free to unmute and start speaking. You can also try the beginning. You can also try placing your palms on top of stacking on top of each other over your abdomen to see whether your belly is getting pumped in and pushed backwards for every exhalation, right? We're going to talk about mudras too in detail. For today, I'll be teaching you 2 mudras, the easiest ones. It's called Chin Mudra, where you bend your index finger and join it with your thumb finger. Okay? So Chin Mudra, and then you can just place them over your knees. And then makes you sit taller, because the mudra, you're also engaging your palm too. You're just not flexing it, you're just not dropping curling your fingers. The mudra ensures there is energy flow into it. And these mudras have significance too. Okay, and I'm not going to talk about it today, but we'll talk about it. And there is also second mudra, which I love. It's also called Jnana Mudra, where you're actually pressing the nail of your index finger with your thumb. Jnana Mudra. So called as your knowledge mudra. So what Chin Mudra and Jnana Mudra do? So this is supposed to be your ego, your ahankara, okay? And this is supposed to be the mahat, which is the universe, the ultimate universe, the thumb. So your ego will be curbed down, or it's pushed down with your ahankara is pushed down with the mahat. So doing this, you're actually surrendering yourself to the entirety. And that's also one more reason we practice yoga. The ultimate reason is to be in union with yourself and with the universe around you, right? So this mudra does signify the union with the universe, the mahat and ahankara getting united. All right. So we're going to do the 2 more rounds that we still have pending for Kapalabhati. So let's continue. Last round. The pumping should be at a moderate speed and with moderate force, not too abrupt, at the same time, not too forceful. You can relax between the breaths. Doesn't mean you're going to drop your spine, but just relaxation means your core can be less engaged. It can be softened a little bit, and then your mudras and everything can be less engaged. Okay, and your focus will be still on the breath. And between each pranayama, if you notice and observe, the breath becomes softer and it also gets longer, which is deeper. All right. Let's move on to some workout today. So we'll be starting with warm up. So even Patanjali, even if you BKS Iyengar, I look up to his books a lot. Javier, that's a great question. I'm inhaling through my nostrils into my lungs, and it reaches till my abdomen. So you may not feel it in the very beginning, but it just ensures that the breath is deeper. But when I'm exhaling, I'm actually exhaling through my belly, right? Because I feel the pump in and out. So yes, the answer is yes, into your belly. And this is not necessarily every time you breathe, but especially when you're practicing when you're doing your asanas, you can still breathe into the lungs, but especially when you're in a seated position, when you're doing your pranayama, it's ideal you go into your belly button. And even in asanas, if you keep on practicing, at one point when you're doing your asanas, you don't notice, but you can still do the practicing breathing, inhaling, and exhalation through your belly button. Okay. So every author, and including the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and Vedanta Samhita and Shiva Samhita is also a very good text for you to look at. And most of these are easy translations, and they're pretty much available everywhere. They're also available in PDF forms. I highly recommend you look at these classical texts to know what the original asana practice means and what the real authors are trying to convey from the Samhitas, right? Now, even the Vedanta Samhita actually has a lot of description about your shakriyas, meaning for every Ayurvedic panchakarma, there is a related kriya that happens. Like when we talk about nasya, there is something called neti, where you're rinsing your nasal passage with jal neti, which is through water. There's also sutra neti, where you're actually taking a linen cloth, a thread, and cleansing your nostrils with that. Okay. Now we are going to practice some warm up, because anytime, even if it's a small Surya Namaskar you want to do, it's always good to warm up your muscles, right? And 1/3 of the practice should be your pranayama, and 1/3 of the practice should be your warm up and asana, and 1/3 of the practice should be your cool down practice, ideally. And some others argue 1/4 is your pranayama, 1/4 is your warm up, and 1/4 is your asana practice, and then the 1/4 is cool down. So you can pick either way. And for today, we're going to try focusing on the 1/3 of each, and let's see how that goes. Okay. So the warm up, we make sure you're going to warm up all your muscles, starting from your toe till your head. Okay. So you're going to start with your toes, and then your ankles, and then you move up to your calf muscles and your kneecaps, and then your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and then we're going to come up, and then we're going to start, and with the neck rotations. So after that, we're going to we can do, there are sequences in yoga, right? And now they call the whole branch of Hatha Yoga into Vinyasa whenever there is a flow in sequence. But typical sequence is a Surya Namaskar or a Chandra Namaskar. We're going to learn both the variations in this class, if not today, on a separate day. But today my goal is to at least cover one or two forms of Surya Namaskar. There is only one form of Surya Namaskar in Hatha Yoga, and then Ashtanga, there is more enhancements to it. But even in that one form of classical sequence of Surya Namaskar, you can enhance it with a few more gestures, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so we can all get up on your feet, stand up, because I will also teach you a perfect posture to stand up. Yoga teaches you a great way to improve your posture, so let's all stand up. Okay, so watch me. When we stand up and somebody tells you to stand straight, you tend to either stick your butt or push your hips back and then open up your chest like this, right? We think that Beyonce standing is the perfect way to stand, but no. The hips should be pushed down, and then your feet should be nice, knees should be engaged in. You can actually feel that when your knees are engaged. I'm wearing very loose pants today, but when I'm wearing tights, you can see, okay, I can maybe show you now. So when my knee is engaged, when my kneecap is engaged, you can see that it lifts up, knee lifts up a little bit, tad bit, and you can practice that on your own. So my knees are engaged, and my knees are slightly, kneecaps slightly lift up, and then my quads, right, my quads are completely engaged, and I slightly turn them inwards, like when you engage them, you're bringing them inwards, okay? And then my glutes are contracted in, sucked in, okay? And my belly, my abdomen, my core is perfectly engaged, so my abdomen muscles are contracted perfectly. And then when I do that, it does lift up the belly button slightly up, okay? And then my sternum, of course, is pushing up, and shoulders out, and then my palms next to me. So this is the perfect Tadasana, perfect posture when you stand. All right? Okay, now let's move to our warm-up, starting with your toes. So just like you have phalanges on your palms, you have these metatarsals that stick and extend into your toes, right? So let's just pretend that you are extending your toes through your metatarsals. Your toes are extended forward, and you spread them out, and you extend them. One more thing, when you're doing a perfect Tadasana, your entire weight should be on your feet, and you are not leaning forward or back, but you have your entire weight balanced on, there are 3 balls on your foot. So one under the big toe, one under the pinky, okay, and one on your heel, right? 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to balance, there should be a perfect equilibrium, equilateral distribution of weight between these 3 points, okay? So that brings the center of gravity into the center of your soul. So let's stand like that and feel like there is suction of gravity, the earth, energy from the earth is pulling down just to the center of your soul that makes you stand taller. Okay, don't forget to engage your glutes and your core and open up your shoulders, down your nice and stand tall. Now grab your hands, grab your hips with your hands, and we're going to start by lifting. I'm actually doing a mirror. I'm used to doing a mirror. So we'll start with your right foot. Let's try to balance. You're going to spin your ankles 6 times clockwise and rotate them counterclockwise 6 times. It loosens them up. Switch. Bring them back. Now again, I'm extending my metatarsals, so elongating my toes forward. Once that's done, I'm trying to lift my heel up with a deep inhale, still hands on the hips. Inhale up. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Perfect. Now, we're going to move up to the knees. So, I want you to put your feet about your hip distance apart. Okay. Now, take a deep inhale, hands up. Exhale, place the palms on your kneecaps and make small circles with your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now come up. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands on the hips. And now we're going to move your feet about your shoulder width apart. Actually, I allow you to place your feet about your mat width apart. Okay, on the edges of your mat. Nicely elongated, nicely spread apart. And then hands still on the hips. We're going to start taking your right hand. Most of my practice, I will start to do a mudra. So I still like to use either a chin mudra or jnana mudra, doesn't matter. But that ensures that there is this, I'll talk about what this mudra does with energy. And then there is also conscious effort of not losing my fingers soft. And my entire arm is also engaged. So I keep a mudra. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, I bend to my left side. So when I'm bending, I make sure my hand is not forward, but my biceps are right above my ear. And it opens up my right side of the body. Inhale, switch. Exhale to the right, opening your left side. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, release. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, place your arms upon your glutes, on your hips. And we're going to inhale, push them forward all the way. And to your right. Exhale, back, left, bring it back to center. You're spinning them around, making sure you're not doing this. You're not moving your head too much. It's natural for your head to move a little bit, but you're not doing this, but instead you're trying to push your hips in circle directions. 6, wide, slow but wide. Extend them to as far as you can, make it wider. And you switch, go all the way around. Exhale when you get back. Inhale as you come forward. And release. All right, now we have to go up to your, let's start with your wrists. And then we're going to work on your, around your chest, and then we work on your shoulders, and then we come to your neck, okay? So you can bring your feet about your hip distance apart. Place your arms in the front. So we're going to do pec cat door. Inhale up, exhale down. Still ensuring your knees, hips, so your ankles, knees, hips, and your shoulders all in one line, and of course your ears. So that you can make sure you're not drooping or arching, but you're standing perfectly straight and nice and tall. Okay? So arms in front of you. So we're just going to flip your palms up and down, working your wrists. So, but always make sure you have the breath going on with your movement. Inhale up, exhale down. Now we're going to go you're going to go sideways, open and shut, okay, with the breath. Open as you inhale, exhale as you shut. Open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. Don't bend your elbows. Make a gentle fist, soft fist, and then spin your wrists inside out 6 times, clockwise, or just inside out, sorry, not clockwise. And now other way, outside in, 6 times. Beautiful. It does work a lot on the biceps and shoulders, at least if you have tight shoulders like mine. I definitely feel it instantly whenever I do this. And now we're going to practice, because you guys have learned, oh, you didn't learn I'm sorry. We're going to do, this is called dynamic pranayama, where we're going to add a movement to your pranayama. So arms still in front of you, and palms, elbows out, and palms facing you, facing your chest and facing each other. And I still like to make my mudra. I feel free to make a mudra if you want to. And now my feet are slightly wider than my hips. And I inhale in the center, exhale, I twist my body out, and I stretch my arm out. Inhale, come back to center, exhale, twist to the other side. Okay? So that this is called dynamic breath work or dynamic pranayama, because there is movement associated to this. Okay? So inhale, exhale. This is called torso twist. The speed is not important. What's important is the twist and the exhalation and emphasis on the breath. Now moving up to your shoulders, I'm going to place my fingers widely spread over my shoulder, and we're going to inhale, bring them forward. You're going to spin your elbows up, exhale, drop them back, make circles with your shoulders, inhale up, exhale, push them back and down, inhale forward and up, exhale back and down. And we're going to switch the direction. So inhale, push back and up. Exhale, forward and down. And release. Grab your hands from behind, and we're going to spin your neck around. Go with the breath. Inhale as you bring your neck up. No need to rush. Make it Extend it to the widest diameter possible. Release it. Release all the tension and the tightness around your neck and shoulder area. And counterclockwise. Do not forget to breathe. Or you can just let it flow naturally if you don't want to focus on your inhalation and exhalation. Focus on your stretch. Just naturally breathe. Come back to center. And the final warm-up. If any of you are experiencing either high blood pressure or your menstrual cycle, you can skip this final warm-up, but for the rest of us, we can do it, right? So come to, still stay there, I'm ready to come to that. So I'm starting with my inhale. Exhale, switch to the side. Exhale, place the palms on my hips, and I arch my back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lean forward. Okay, so one more thing I want to teach you here is leaning forward, right? So when we tell people to lean forward, and especially in a lot of my yoga classes when I'm teaching a bigger group, people just trying to do this. But here, they're bending through their spine. I want them to hinge, so like a door hinge, I want to hinge through their hip joint. So you're only keeping your back straight and you're going to only bend your hip joint. So this way, it's okay if you're only here. That's totally fine. Okay? And if you're only till here, you can bend your knees and do what I'm telling you to do. But this is not, the goal is not to reach forward. Okay? So hinge down, lean forward, and now bend your knees, place your palms, place your fingers under your toes. Breathe when you inhale when you bend, exhale when you extend your knees. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now grab your hands from behind, interlace your fingers, and then we're going to shake as we exhale, and then you're going to bring your head forward. Release. Inhale, rise up. Palms on your hips. Exhale, arch back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hinge forward. Your fingers under your toes again. Knees bent. Inhale, exhale. Try to lengthen them out. If this is all you can extend, that's okay. But at least try to inhale and straighten them. Inhale, straighten them as you exhale. Now grab your hands from behind and shake as you exhale. Inhale, release. Exhale, arch back. Inhale up. Exhale, palms to the side. And we're going to move to your sun salutations, which is a Surya Namaskar. But that's also part of your warm-up. That's actually your final warm-up before you move to asana. And come to the top of your mat. My daughter is here in case I need a model to show any alignments, but I'm going to do it now. So feet together. This is the Hatha Yoga way of doing. the Surya Namaskar. So feet together, knees together, hips together, stand straight. So I'm not going to chant the mantras today, but there are mantras for each of them. Today I'm going to provide some instructions. I'm hoping for the future classes, I'm hoping you're going to get the sequence, so we're going to do this with the mantras. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Namaste, Mudra, Anjali Mudra. Again, ensure your knees, the soles of your feet, the weight is equally distributed and balanced on the three balls under your toes and your heel, and your knees are locked, your hips are squeezed in, core sucked in, chest, shoulders open and away from your ears. Inhale, up. So any yoga class you do, remember these principles. Anytime somebody asks you to bend or fold your abdomen a little bit, that means you have to exhale. If you're expanding your abdomen, you have to inhale. That's a generic rule. That's often misinterpreted in a different way than, at least for a couple of classes I took here just to see the difference. But it's always whenever you expand your abdomen, you inhale. You contract as you exhale, okay? Any movement. And the Surya Namaskar must ensure the inhalation and exhalation is constant and throughout. No need to hold your breath anywhere except for one pose. It's called Dandasana or the plank. But other than that, no need to hold your breath at all. Keep your breath freely moving, but with the moves, you can. When I tell you to inhale, that means focus on the inhalation, and when I tell you to exhale, focus on the exhalation. But when I tell you not to move, doesn't mean you have to hold your breath. You can still keep your breath flowing. Okay, hope that makes sense. Inhale, hands up, arch your back. Exhale again, hinge forward. It's okay if you cannot reach your toes, feel free to bend your knees. And this is where I suggest you bring your props. I'll show you a few props. For the next class, you can bring like yoga bricks. If you don't have the yoga bricks, you can also take your textbooks and you can stack them, or any box, right, for elevation where you can place your hands on, right? So this is what I'm talking about, bricks or blocks, whatever you call them. Padahasthasana, so we're here, I make sure my toes and fingers are in one line, okay? And now I inhale and swing my right foot back, Asvasanchalasana. So I come to a forward lunge on my left leg. That makes sense, right? And I drop my knee on the floor. Still, the whole Surya Namaskar, I'm not moving wherever my hands are kept, and I don't move my legs behind till a point where they have to be brought together. Otherwise, these are intact and they just stay put over there. Now here, a few corrections I will make is if a person is doing this, you can correct this yourself. Make sure this is about 90 degrees. So if you're like this, try to bring it forward. If your knee is before your ankle, try to bring it back. And then your knee is on the floor, but make sure there is no weight on the knee. The weight should be only on the sole of your left foot and the top of your right foot. And you can also feel the extension around your hip joint. Okay? So this is how it is. Inhale, curl your toes from behind on your right foot, lift your knee up. And now you're coming to a plank pose. This is when you can retain your breath for just a couple of seconds. So don't do this or don't do this. Should be like a perfect plank. Exhale, drop your knees. chest, chin, and forehead on the floor. Ashtanga Pranam Asana. So I am sticking my butt up a bit on the floor, but everything else is on the floor. Can you come here? So your butt is up on the floor, chest, chin, and your elbows next to you. Exhale, drop your ankles, drop your hips, and then lift up your torso, Bhujangasana. Here you ensure you're not putting any pressure on your lower back, but you're squeezing your glutes and you're pushing into your pelvis. So your pelvis is sticking to the floor. You don't even need to do this. You can even do a small, shorter. So this is called a baby cobra, perfectly fine. Okay. Now exhale to a mountain pose. This is called Paravatasana. So this is not a downward dog. The difference between downward dog and Paravatasana is here you have your entire back straight and you are looking between your fingers. You're not hanging your head down, and the goal is not to bring your head chin towards your belly. No. And then your hips are completely sticking up. Your feet are together. Okay? So your feet are together and your back is straight. Now inhale, swing your right foot between your palms. Again, make sure your leg is 90, your right leg is 90 degrees from the floor. If it's not, I would move the leg behind to make sure it's 90 degrees. That stretch right there. I mean, unless you have an injured back or if you have any kind of pain that's going on, totally easy, but that's just a way of perfection. And now, exhale. You're going to bring your left leg to join to your right, so both feet between your palms. I'm going to watch you all do it, and you can copy the instructions there. Also here, I make sure you're not leaning back, but your hips are ankles in one line, right? And this is all you can go totally fine. You can also feel free to bend your knees if you want to, or you can use those bricks to place your palms on. Now again, inhale. So this was the right side sequence. We're going to repeat the whole sequence with the left side of your body. Now inhale, rise up. Inhale, arch back. Exhale completely here. Inhale, rise up. And hinge down, making sure your back is straight. Do not bend your spine. Back is straight, but you're only hinging from your hip joint. Inhale, swing your left leg back, coming to a forward lunge on your right leg. A low lunge, so you bring your knee down. Ensure you have 90 degrees on your right foot this time. Toes and feet in one line. Also make sure you're not like dropping your entire weight on the, your chest is not just dropping and relaxing on your thigh, right? You have to make sure your back is straight, right? Exhale completely. Then inhale, swing your right foot to join your left foot in the back, coming to a plank pose, high plank. Exhale, drop your knees, your chest, your chin, stick your hips up. Ashtanga Pranamasana. Perfect. And you can also bring your forehead down. That's like, this is like a prayer to the goddess Earth in this pose. Now inhale, melt and drop your ankles, hips on the floor. Push up your torso away from the floor. You can just lift up till your chest. You don't need to push up the whole body. Ensure your feet are together if you can. For some of us, especially a lot of women have wider hips. I do too. It's super hard to bring my feet together. So it's okay to keep them slightly apart, but always ensure your pelvis is engaged and your glutes are completely engaged. Exhale, come to mountain pose, Parvata Asana. Do not move your feet, just keep them where they are and then you just move into the pose. Also make sure your head, your neck is in line with the spine, so you're really looking between your thumbs. You're not looking down into your abdomen like the popular Western pose is the downward dog. But here your feet are together and you're looking between your fingers. Now inhale, swing your left foot between your legs. Sorry, between your hands, coming to a forward lunge on your left. So left foot forward, right leg back, knee drop down. Weight only on your forward leg and the top of the back leg. Exhale, swing your right foot to join your left. So both feet between your hands. Palms and your fingers and toes in one line, if possible. Inhale, rise up and arch back. Exhale, come back to center. Namaste Mudra. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Any questions thus far? We're going to do one more sequence of Surya Namaskar. This time we go a little softer and slower. Or, yeah, any questions? Anybody has any questions? We'll give it a 30 seconds or 10 seconds to see if anybody has a question. Feel free to unmute and ask, or we're going to move up. We'll learn one balancing posture, and then we'll do a final Shavasana. No questions then? Okay. This is something we all can practice with a wall because it's easier that way. But for now, I'm going to teach you what to do. We will be learning something called Trivikramasana. Actually, we learn Trivikramasana. It's a very common, very easy and common posture in yoga. When we say yoga, people think about tree pose, so we're going to learn about that. So we're going to start with hands on hips. Lift up your right. And twist your ankles other way around. And then we're going to bring your right foot forward. And you bring your entire weight on your right foot now. And then we're going to lift your left leg. And then place it wherever possible. You can place it either closer to your knee, or up to your knee, or on your inner thigh, or you can also bring it close to your pelvis joint, right? So wherever you can, doesn't matter. The goal is to make sure your knee is to the side, the pelvis is nice and open, both sides. So that's why I told you if you do it on the wall, you can push. Try this and you'll definitely see the difference when you try it on the wall. You can see that your pelvis is a little tighter than you do it here because you tend to bring your knee forward. And now, once you remain balanced, I lose my balance as I'm speaking here, but the goal of this posture is to keep the balance all the time. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, join them up. Focus on a single point. And if you're super focused, if you have a calmer mind, then you can also try closing your eyes to see how balanced you can be. Gently close your eyes. If you can, only if you're ready to. I don't want you to fall. But please try this with the wall so you can see. You can make sure that your right glutes is sticking to the wall and your left knee should also be towards the wall. So it should be open out, should be completely opened out. Okay? Now exhale, release. Bring your hands to the hips. Bring your left foot back and the right foot back and give it a nice shake. And this time, hands on hips, lift up your left and squeeze your ankle. 6 times clockwise and 6 times counterclockwise. Place it forward. Inhale, bring your right leg, right foot, and place it over your left anywhere closer you want to. Either here or here. Right? Make sure toes facing straight, knee to the side, pelvis nice and open. Gently open your arms, inhale. Exhale. Hatha Yoga is mostly about holds in each pose. It's not to, it doesn't mean you have to go into a twisted pretzel pose, but even if it's the slightest pose, like even if you're standing in the standing position, the Tadasana I showed you, you still have to learn how to stand straight and bringing your breath in balance into your posture, right? Keep breathing here. Once you find yourself focused, feel free to close your eyes. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring your right foot back and left foot back and give it a nice shake. Good. So the Surya Namaskar itself is actually intense because it's a sequence of 12 asanas. So that wasn't easy. Great job, everybody who tried to do this today. So we're going to now just dim the lights off on your side, and then you don't need to, just telling you, lie down on supine position on your back to be coming to the final relaxation pose. Inhale and engage your toes. Curl your toes, flex your feet, however you want to contract them. Exhale, release. Inhale, engage your ankles, your calf muscles, and your kneecaps. Exhale, soften them. Inhale, contract your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, your hips, pelvis. Squeeze them together, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale and release. Inhale, engage your back, lower back. abdomen. Exhale, release. Inhale, engage your chest, back. Exhale, soften them. Allow your entire spine to melt on the floor. Inhale, contract your shoulder blades. Feel free to open your shoulders. Feel free to lift them up. Exhale, drop them and melt them on the floor. Inhale, clench your fist. Maybe bring them up. Bring your arms up, elbows up, up, up. Exhale, release, soften them on the floor. Inhale, contract your neck muscles. Arch your neck. However you want to do this. Front of your neck. Exhale, let it soften and loosen down. Inhale, contract your facial muscles. Make a face. Contract it. Maybe stick your tongue out. Exhale, relax your facial muscles. Inhale. And exhale, allow yourself to enjoy the few minutes of relaxation. Try playing soft music for you here. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanat Mrityom Mujhiyamamrutat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sukandhim pushtivardhanam Varukamiva vandana Ruchyam ruchiyamamrita Om Trayambakam yajamahe Sukandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva vandana Mrutyo mruchiyamamrita Sato ma satkamaya tamaso ma jyotirkamaya mrityonma amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Sato ma satkamaya tamaso ma jyotirkamaya mrityonma amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Keep your eyes closed till I tell you to open them, please. Make gentle movements to your toes and fingers. Slowly roll over to your right side, stacking your palms on each other, making a pillow under your cheek. Keep the eyes closed. Whenever you're ready, sit up to a seated pose. Come up to a seated pose. Sit up straight, either crisscrossed or in a bold pose where your knees are bent and your hips are on your heels, however you're comfortable. With your eyes closed. Soft breath. Notice how soft and quiet your breath has become after the practice. Place your palms in front of you. We're going to chant a closing mantra. Keep your eyes closed, please. Om Purnam Adaha Purnam idam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Please rub your palms together, bringing some energy. You're actually igniting the prana, the energy between your palms. And if you keep doing this, you start smelling something that's burning between your palms. Once you have that burning sensation, or you smell that, gently place them over your eyelids, cupping your palms. Soft breath. Exhale and release. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for staying. I just noticed that you're going to get a homework. I'm sorry I couldn't read this chat. Next class, I'm going to make sure I have my computer connected to my hotspot, so you're also going to get some music instead of me chanting. So, okay, good. So you're going to get a homework on your warm-up. So I guess just to recap, we did learn a few breath works because that's also going to enhance your prana and get you ready. And then you're also going to we also learn how to do the prana warm-up, starting with your toes. And we did some spinal twists, we did some dorsal twists, and we also started spinning every ankles, all the way from ankles to your neck, right? And then we did one final sequence of Surya Namaskar, and then we did one asana today. And then we ended up with some cool down and meditation. Any questions for anybody? Okay. This is going to be how the class is going to be. Please bring your mat. Feel free to bring your props like bricks, blocks. Next week, we're going to learn more asanas, and I'm going to show you. Actually, I don't need to show you, but if you have a yoga belt or a strap with you that comes with your mat, or a yoga strap, please bring them. If you don't have a yoga strap, also use neckties. Yeah, you can also, this is a yoga strap, but I think now this is from Rishikesh, so this is the classical style, but you can also get the resin ones. But if not, you can also use neckties to use a strap, or you can use a lady scarf, long scarf, you can. But these props are really helpful, and elevation is also important, the bricks and blocks, okay? So that's because without the elevation, if like you've noticed, right, the last pose I taught you, please leave it, please push yourself towards the wall, because you will notice the opening is much better and wider if you have a support, either to place your hand or to place your back or to place your feet on. So try bringing them, and maybe a notebook and a pen. It's not going to be a theory class because I'm sure these slides are going to be shared with you. But yeah, if you don't have any questions, we're going to wrap it up in 2 minutes, but I'll be here for 1 or 2 minutes. Oh, Manjula, you started to share. Oh, it's not about the inversion. Yes, any inversion, whenever I teach my poses, I'm going to tell you what the contraindications are, meaning who cannot do it and what it's helpful for, if any. Of course, all the asanas are used for overall health, but there are some that ensure, like thyroid, for example, will be helpful for some people, and it can help some diabetes, it can help in some blood flow. But that was not the focus on, of course, inversion, nobody in periods or pregnancy should do, at least in the last trimester. But the inversion I taught today was not, it's not complete inversion, but it was a fold, right? But the focus was more on the intense breath. These are called Brastika breaths, these are called bellow breaths. And those breaths really warm up and really cause excess heat that can influence your apanavayu. So it's going to increase your menstrual fluid. So, but that was not related to inversion. Today we did not learn any inversion, by the way. So that was the only reason I told you not to. Yeah. Right? And the ideal time, according to Ayurveda, if you look at the Dinacharya practice, is to, ideally we should do it, around 6 in the morning, between 6 and during the Kapha Kala, not before 6. But also, if you miss that time, you can also practice in the Pradosha Kala, which is 6 in the evening also, because it has to be practiced on an empty stomach. Asana practice and pranayama practice as well. And if you're doing it in the morning, ideally do it after Abhyanga, because the Abhyanga, whenever we do in Ayurveda, we say Abhyanga should be followed by a sweat therapy, which is called Svedhana. But when you have this oil rubbed on your body and you do the practice of asana, you naturally sweat out and you naturally warm up. So that's a natural way to do sudation or the sweat therapy, and then you can take a shower for the day. There is also a martial arts, Indian martial art called Kalri, and we just started learning that. In the Kalri, actually the warm-up is to do Abhyanga. So you have to do the oil massage and then do the Kalri practice. So that's one of the best times to do if you're practicing in the morning right after doing your Abhyanga practice. Great questions, though. Right. Thank you. Namaste, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a nice evening. Bye. Good night.